Thank you for coming. It'd be good enough just to join me in the opening prayer. Divine Eternal Creator, higher spirits, guides and teachers, thank you for bringing each and every one of us safely to this thy sanctuary this evening. We give thanks for the animal kingdom. We're beginning to finally take more care of the wild animals, but we take such pleasure from our pets and for the love that they give to their owners. We would ask that the leaders of the world, no matter who they may be, that when they do gather together, that their dialogue should be one of peace rather than conflict, as we've seen enough of what looks like an invasion. To me, from what I hear and see, to me that is a war. But we also give thanks for the men and women in uniform, whether they be bus drivers, train drivers, ambulance people, soldiers, all of the military services, for the work that they do and for the work that they have done, especially through the COVID time. That taught us a lesson, but it also taught us that one of the main aspects of spiritualism is love, and the fact that we have neighbours. Jesus, who was one of our better mediums, he just simply said, love your neighbour. He didn't say you had to like your neighbour. But we are beginning to realise that as a community we must work together because our children are in desperate need of guidance from the adults, but also love and direction. Basically, we give thanks for the, as I said, animal kingdom, but our earth plane in general. And again, we're beginning to husband it better because we're being taught a lesson by the climate, if nothing else. But for this evening, we will have fun, we will have laughter, and we will thank you for your time and your energy. Amen.
Thank you. I've got our lovely healing book here. I probably should put myself in it.
Good idea.
Yeah, I'll just do myself in there. If anyone doesn't know what we're doing here, this is our healing book. If you've got anyone that you need to send out healing to, anyone that might need it, if you haven't written it in, don't worry about it, just write it afterwards. They'll still get the message. It all goes to the same place. I'm going to read out the list of names and a short prayer, and if afterwards, if you can just take a moment, we'll have a moment of quiet, if you can just take a moment just to send out some loving thoughts and some nice energy their way, and just envision them in a better situation than they are now, that would be wonderful. Great Spirit, now the festivities are truly behind us, and we are surrounded by dark and cold, we remind ourselves that the longest night has passed, and that little by little the light is coming back, bringing with it positivity and hope. But we remember that not everyone is as lucky as we are, and for some, things are still feeling bleak. We send all the love, light and healing we raise here tonight to them in the hopes of brighter times to come. And the healing list is Darren, Seffi, Michael, Zoe, Clive, Sylvia, Craig, Katie, Scott, Sam, Sue, Robert, Jenny, Deborah, Jean, Ellie and Faison, I think that is. So pop that there, and if there's anyone they want to add afterwards, they can, and we'll just take a moment just to visualise them in a better situation, send them some lovely, lovely energy. Lovely, thank you. I've got a little reading here. It's just a very, very tiny little story, and it's a real life story. I like to read out real life ones if I can, because I just feel that they give a little something to people. And it's a reminder that as our world is modernising, so is the spirit world, and everything that they know here, they take that knowledge back with them, and this is a little example of that. Sighing, I sat down on the sofa and pulled out my phone. It had been a devastating week. My younger brother Andrew had died suddenly, just 4 days before my birthday and 10 days before his 40th. I'd also recently found out I was pregnant. I planned to visit his house and tell him, but now it was too late. Andrew would never meet my 4th child. Are you okay? My husband Nick asked, coming into the living room. Yeah, I said, I'm just going to send a text to Rachel. Rachel was my sister-in-law, my brother's wife. Bringing up her contact, I started to type out a text. I only got as far as, "Hi Rachel," before I stopped. The screen was filled with predictive text, but not the usual few words. It was a long message. Breathlessly, I scanned the words. "The boys are amazing. I miss you all. Sending all my love." "Nick, look at this," I said, passing him my phone. "This came up on predictive text. I don't understand." He stared at it in disbelief. "You don't think..." His voice trailed off. "It has to be Andrew," I said. "He sent us a message from heaven." I couldn't work out if he was referring to our 3 boys or his own sons. All I knew was that it had to be a sign that he was watching over us. The following week, Nick and I were having a drink in the living room, reminiscing about Andrew, when we heard a scratch, like an object being moved. We were baffled and neither of us could work out where it had come from. However, the following day, as I began dusting in the living room, I moved one of our angel figurines, and it made the exact same scratching sound. After the funeral, I didn't hear from Andrew for quite a while. I missed him terribly. But when our daughter, Molly Drew, named after him, came along, I wished more than anything that he could have met her. Then, around her first birthday, I was videoing Molly in the living room when I noticed an orb on the screen. I watched as it hung over the armchair before floating away. Transfixed, our little girl followed it around the room. It then paused right by her face and disappeared. I couldn't believe it. When I played the video back to Nick, his jaw dropped. "It's your brother popping in to say hello," he said. This is one of the last signs that we ever had from him. While I have no concrete evidence of what happened, I'll cherish these moments. They gave me comfort during one of the hardest periods of my life, and it has deepened my spirituality and belief in the afterlife. That's me done. Thank you for listening, and thank you for not coughing. I'm going to pass you up to Effie. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Amelia. Well, I was going to say, you mentioned you didn't cough.
I know. I managed to hold it in the entire time.
You must not tempt them, as you
I was holding it in.
A very interesting reading. I mean, that is one of the aspects of mediumship and the spirit world that most people are sort of familiar with. The whole idea that members of their families are around them more or less all of the time, usually it's mother or father, and giving guidance, albeit a bit of a nudge sometimes, maybe even to get you out of bed type thing. And it's perfectly okay, because it is a fact that when we leave this body behind and the soul is released into the spirit world, they do take with them all of their love and their interests and everything else. So it's quite possible that some of them are actually quite advanced mediums and didn't realise it at all, or they were very spiritualist in themselves. So they will try and contact those within the family who are of equal interest. With somebody that Willow was reading about, obviously was very keen and therefore could pick up the slight changes in the vibes and this sort of thing. But they're nothing to worry about. They're not here to torment you or anything like that. Most of the time they're just simply watching over you and wishing you all the best, because it is your energy that they're also working with. And if you don't want them, you just shut the door. You stop the energy. That's all it is. And people call it, the energy has all sorts of names. It can be called love, it can be called energy, it can be karma. You can put any name you want on it, but it is the physical, the energy that we have all got. And it depends on your interests and whether you decide that you will develop perhaps your more spiritual side, let's put it that way. There's not really an awful lot the spirit world wants me to talk about at the moment, because you are here and you have chosen to sit down the sides, which fascinates me when you had a whole centerpiece. So in some ways you have divided yourselves up and isolated yourself, which doesn't make it any easier for me, but that's not the point.
It's the law of the comfy chairs.
Yeah, I had noted that as well. But the thing, as William had said, the evening will go on to possibly 9:30 or thereabouts. And with my form of mediumship, I will be round you and could come a second time round you well before then. simply because when I chose to ask and get to know Spirit, that was half the deal, that they worked with me. And my energy and my desire to get things done had to be taken into consideration. Otherwise, I wasn't prepared to work with them. It was as simple as that. And don't forget, we all do have choice. So what I would like you to do, while those of you to whom I am not speaking to at any given one moment, is think of some questions or ask me questions. Because there's someone here who's looking for not necessarily confirmation of how they're feeling, but whether or not what they're thinking or feeling, does it have any relevance? So do give it some thought. Might as well make it, it's cold and it's wet and it's miserable, so we might as well get the energy going in here of heat, and that comes from upstairs as well. So working on that basis, we will start from the lady at the back, and I will come to you if I may. Right? Good evening to you. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing I do normally say. If you don't want me to come, say no, you won't bother me at all. On that score, the way I work, the Spirit Word knew I was coming here tonight. And those of you who have arrived have also been thinking about coming here tonight. So the one that will be amassed behind me now, who are relatives or friends or whatever, no, it's because they know you're going to be here and I'm going to be here. My guardian angel has taken up position beside me because some of you have very large families, right? So there has to be a control mechanism. And I will simply come to you and then I ask who is with you, and that will apply to each and every one of you, right? And in doing so, I have had a lady who's come forward. Your grandmother is in the world of spirit, is she not? And she wasn't very tall, was she? Mm-hmm. About my height, the 5 foot. Yeah, she was like me, 5'4", but we're slowly losing that 4 inches, she tells us. Right? But she was a very energetic lady, was she not? Yeah. And she had, she could do just about anything if she chose to. And she tells me that you have the same skill level. But your lifestyle, she's telling me, is more subtle. Not all of them are aware of just how competent you actually are. And she tells me that you go to quite strange ways of thinking and presenting yourself so that they don't actually get to know what they could possibly be asking you to get up to. And it's not that it's secret, but that's your life, and you don't see why everybody else around you should be totally aware of all aspects of it. Grandmother had the same sort of thinking, but she was in a different era, if it's as simple as that. And she tells me in her case, she had to be what was seen and what was heard, because that was the only way the family was going to survive, right? But with you, you do have the luxury of being able to detach to a certain extent. Actually, you have quite a family in the world of spirit, do you not? Mm-hmm. There's quite a few women there, and you are all very, very strong. I'm hearing, because there's another lady has come alongside her, she's talking about music, mm-hmm. This other lady. She would have been about the same height, but dark-haired. And she's coming in more like an aunt to you. She tells me that you like music. Mm-hmm. Do you like to dance as well? Yeah. Yes, because that's what they're giving me, the sense of movement. But that is a way for you to simply totally relax. They bring their love to you. They also want to bring to you is a sense of calm, because life has been somewhat difficult, and that's putting it mildly. You are now cresting over, right? And they want to bring calm, because I'm being told by both ladies, but most particularly by grandmother, that you are a lot of strength to the family. And while you remain strong, they survive. So take the love. Thank you very much indeed for speaking. Bless you. Now I counted the lady at the end, but the pink. Yes. Yeah. That's all right. As I said, you can always say no. I have a gentleman approaching towards me. He's coming very much on a father figure. His father in the world spirit. I have a man here who is very competent within himself, very contained within himself, but he's got a twinkle in his eye, and I told him he's not to wind me up tonight. He can wait until you're back home to wind you up, because he used to do that, didn't he? It wasn't that he played tricks, but he had a turn of how he spoke. You had to sit there and work out, was he being severe, or was he telling me off, or is he pulling my leg? Well, he hasn't changed apparently. But he tells me that you actually have become much more, do I have to use the word wise?
Maybe.
Yeah. Apparently you've had more than enough on your plate over the last few years. So wisdom is there, right? Even though you do not necessarily, you rarely pat yourself on the back for anything, are you? No. Although the gentleman is a little bit concerned about, there is someone around you who seems to be taking liberties with regards to your time. Yes. As long as you know that, he's saying you will have to make changes, because you are now on the downside of what's going on. Your grandmother is also in the world of spirit. Did she have long hair when she was a younger woman? You didn't know that? But did you have long hair? Or do you have long hair?
I did used to have long
Yeah,
hair.
because she just did the brushing thing, right? But grandmother was another very strong-willed woman, wasn't she? She tells me that you possess the necessary qualities, but you don't distribute them like she did. And I like the word distribute, because I think she must have clipped a few ears on the way through as well. They have, I'm getting the sense from those who are around you at the moment that they are well pleased. There has been a tremendous learning curve, which you're just emerging out of now, and better for it. Right? Are you by any chance a healer in itself? Are you a nurse?
A caring.
You are, yes, because I've suddenly had this healing coming through. So that will actually, I'm being told by your father, will give you a certain amount of satisfaction. Right? And grandmother is saying, I'm not surprised. You were as a child as well. So take their love and know they're with you. Thank you very much indeed. Bless you. May I come to the young lady with the long hair? May I come to you? Thank you. I'm having a younger energy coming through. I sense he's male. I can't see him at the moment, and my guardian angel isn't telling me. But I'm getting a sense of a younger man, probably maybe in his 20s, and quite athletic. Don't worry, they do not come alone if you're not likely to pick them up immediately. I'm just waiting to see who's turning up alongside them. But this young man is bringing you energy. Apparently, he tells me that you have been feeling quite down. You don't like the dark nights. You most certainly don't like the rain. Generally speaking, you're almost hibernating until you get to spring. Yes. Okay. The lady who's come alongside him again I sense is your grandmother. And grandmother was a very good cook.
Yeah.
Yes. She knows the young man, so he has been around. As I said, he passed in probably mid-20s, and I sense he went with, it was a breathing problem, but he also had a bit of a heart problem as well. You will think of him, you will find him in the end, because grandmother knows him. But what grandmother is also ringing through to you, she tells me that you have not been sleeping very well. No. And you are a bit of a worrier, she says.
Yeah.
But that's not what's keeping you awake. It's just that you're just almost, she tells me, experiencing being overtired. Yeah. They are not really concerned about you insofar as that you're a young woman and you're healthy and you're very bright as well. You will make the changes that you have to make life a little bit more pleasant. And grandmother said a dose of sunshine wouldn't do you any harm at all. And I've just said to her, if you send her the money, she probably would go on holiday. But that's what it's all about to a certain degree. You're not relaxing, and until you actually start to begin to relax, certain nuisance factors around you would then disappear because you would exert a very strong will. Take their love. The young man you will know, do you have a brother?
Yes.
Yeah, he knew your brother. Okay, so I leave that with you. Thank you. May I come to this lady?
Yes.
I will do that. I will just come down. Good evening to you.
Yes.
Are you also another healer? You work with people, yes?
Not directly, but yeah.
Yes.
we work, yeah.
Because that's the sensation that I'm getting, so I'm asking who's alongside you. And again, I'm having a man who's coming in, but he's coming in much more of like a grandfather figure for you. And he's talking about the shed. Did he have a shed? If he didn't have a shed, he's talking about a shed. So I'm now asking if he'd be good enough to expand on that. And he's just sort of looked at me as if I'm trying to twist. How did it work? No, they do this. Now the shed, his context to a shed is that you can get away from something and sit and ruminate or just potter, right? So he's using that by way of trying to intrigue you. If you obviously don't have a shed, but it's the fact that you require to get yourself some space to just wander around in your head if nothing else. Yes. Because he tells me that although you have the healing instinct and the desire to give healing, in itself is almost a bit of a burden, because you question whether or not you're getting any results, let's put it that way. I am reasonably informed that you do get results.
Okay.
All right? But you must begin to exercise some discipline and control. Not only for your own sake, but for those who you may be assisting, right? Again, I'm seeing a younger female coming forward, someone who actually passed over relatively young, because she's skipping, right? And she's just simply saying, this is the way you should get rid of the energy. But she brings the loving context of fun. And she tells, oh yes, you like a party, don't you? Yes. She said, yes. But that's, it's not so easy at the moment and around in this time of the year and all sorts of other side effects. However, you can take it in your head and you can enjoy yourself. And that's now the combined in here is music for you to relax with. That is the key for you. So take their love and may they're with you. Thank you very much. Bless you. Sir, may I come to you?
You may.
Well, we've met before, haven't we?
Yes.
Your grandfather is in the world of spirit.
Yes.
And he was a very hard-working man, was he not?
Yeah.
He's coming across as being very fit, not muscle-bound, but very fit. Well, you were younger when you knew him, so, and he was a fair old age when you actually did know him, wasn't he? You've got a choice of more than one, of course,
Yeah.
yes. The one who wielded the hammer very well.
Oh, right, okay.
All right?
Yeah.
And he's doing that now. We've got a piece of wood in front of us and we're hammering in nails.
Yeah.
And I gather that you have some work to do at home?
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, what he's showing me, because of the hammering, stuff has got to be dealt with. Doesn't necessarily mean physical hard work at home. There can be other things.
Oh, there's loads of stuff we deal with.
Okay. Well, this grandfather, he actually was quite a nice man in his own way. He had a wiry sense of humour. But what he's coming through about is the healing.
Uh-huh.
You too work as a healer. You have the healing instincts, let's put
Yeah.
it that way.
Yeah.
And he said that this at times is causing confusion for you. It is a question of beginning to actually do the job now,
Correct.
getting yourself into either a circle or a group of healers. It's knowledge that you've got, which you want to work with, but you also have to give, apparently.
Yeah.
Actually, and I rather gather from the conversation that's going on behind him with everybody else in the spirit world around you, that you've been having quite a few conversations and rows with some of your guides and teachers, have you not?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And they say that they're getting to the stage now that you're either going to have to put your money where your mouth is and get on with it, or they will take the necessary action. I'll leave that with you, Squire, because you're the one arguing with him. Yes.
Yeah.
But grandfather, as I said, he's still here. I don't think he was a very placid man. I think he could have quite an energetic energy, let's put it that way. But he's calmed now. He's getting very philosophical. And he tells me that you're also trying to get down that road as well, aren't you? The philosophy of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting mental exercise, is it not?
Well, there's lots of rabbit holes, yeah.
I know there are, yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help when you argue with the people who do know. Your
It's
spirit
all-
world.
it's-
The spirit world, yeah. But there is a learning curve, let's put it
Yeah.
that way. So I will leave that with you. You are well aware of what the spirit world would like and would hope for with you, and grandfather keeping a watching brief on you.
Okay.
But bear in mind, he did have a hammer in his hand when he came through.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. May I come to you, ma'am? May I come to you?
Yes.
Don't be afraid. There's nothing. You can ask any question that you like. Don't worry about that. All I am doing now is asking who's with you, right? And I see a very tall lady walking towards me. But she's coming on very much like a sister vibe. Do you have a sister in the world of spirit?
No.
No. Okay. Or someone whom you would have considered to be like a sister? She may have been older than you, but you were, because when they get back to the world of spirit, they can take whatever image that they like and whatever age they want to present as. So this young woman that is walking towards me was very fond of music. She liked to dance, and she's presenting to me in her mid-20s, but she would have passed into the world of spirit as possibly, I've asked her what age she was, and she told me to mind my own business. And I'm looking at her, so I sense she might have been in her late 30s when she passed over. She is a member of the family, or was a member of the family. Don't worry about it. If you can't, I will now ask who else is with you, right? Again, I'm getting a man and a lady, and they look like mother and father, but they could be grandmother and grandfather. They are definitely in the world of spirit, are they not? Your grandparents.
Yes.
Is your father in the world of spirit?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Because he came quite strong. He stepped forward. I'm getting the sense of this gentleman, he could be quite quixotic in his moods. Couldn't always knew exactly what mood he would have been in. Yes. He tells me, he did try to be more, I was going to use the word joyful, but that's not one of his words. He said he tried to be more flexible, but that really did in some ways went against his nature. He could be quite, almost I'm getting the sense he straightened up and put his shoulders back, a bit more demanding. So he says simply, come along, just to simply say that really is to say hello to you. It's been some time. Your grandparents are standing now behind you, and they're just sort of nodding their heads. You too have been having a bit of trouble sleeping.
I'm okay. I wasn't feeling well a couple of weeks ago, and so that was.
Yeah, but some of what you do, you dream a bit. Yes.
I dream a lot.
Yes, and you worry about the dreams. This is the point. these three people who have come through, your father and your grandparents, are more concerned about the fact the dreams are simply there at the moment with you, is to just let them go. Don't try to analyse them, because they're there just to relax the brain. Okay? They may be a bit confusing if you remember anything about them in the mornings, but don't bother to try to go into it. They were there just to try and get you some physical relaxation, because you don't sleep very well, and the nights do seem to be quite long. Your father is more concerned about the fact that you are burning an awful lot of energy as well. You seem to be constantly on the go, and if it's not physical, it is definitely in your head. You do not get a chance to relax, or you don't take the time to relax. Just know that they are watching over you, they bring you love, and the spirit world. I'm getting another sense of awe around you as well. I'm getting the feeling from them that you also must daydream during the day, and you get this odd feeling from time to time, as if you've been somewhere before. When you walk into somewhere, you sense you've been there before. And sometimes when you meet people, you have also sensed that. And I don't know what your father is doing, but it's making me feel about 6 feet at the moment. You must then be more attuned to spirit than you actually are aware of. Yeah.
I don't know, perhaps.
Yes. And that's what's causing a little bit of making you a bit disconcerted. Don't worry about it. If you're going to be developing your spiritual ideas, mediumship, or whatever aspect of it, it'll come gently. So don't worry about it. And your father is actually looking after it. Your grandparents are very, very strong around you. Have you also been moving furniture around as well?
Always moving.
Always, that's grandmother said. Tell her to stop moving the furniture. Take their love, because that's what the world of spirit is sending to you. You have begun the adventure now, the inquiry into what we do as mediums and why we do it and how we do it and this sort of thing. Maybe on the periphery at the moment, but it has begun to interest you, and you have here somewhere where you can come. Okay, take their love. Bless you. Thank you very much indeed. Madam, may I come to you? Thank you. I know with Sir I mentioned painting, but why am I being just given the word painting?
Did some painting?
You did?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's all right then. Now I'm asking who saw you, who was with you when you were doing it. Your mother is here. Your grandmother?
Yes.
Was it you that had long hair when you were a child?
Yes.
Yes, because that's what she's just brought through to me, is the sense of long hair. So grandmother must have been quite a tactile woman.
Yes.
She must have touched, that's the point, that she's just sort of wanted to do that to Willow's hair sort of thing. Yes, well, grandmother was around you while you were doing a bit of painting.
Okay.
But we must use the word painting in a slightly different way as well. Are you, by any chance, actually an artist as well?
No.
But you have considered it at some stage?
Yes.
Yes. She is here really to sort of, maybe it's the time now to give it another go.
Okay.
Because you two need to be able to relax.
Yes.
Yeah, and you need to be able to get into your head, but stay in it without being disturbed.
Yes.
And I'm getting the sense of a paintbrush going across a canvas. You would be so intrigued in what you were doing that you might just be able to isolate that 5 or 10 minutes for you.
Okay.
Right. Also, grandmother is saying that, again, you haven't been sleeping very well either.
No.
It's just simply being more of a disturbed nonsense nuisance, not sleep.
Yes.
Yes. It does have its own side effects of feeling tired during the afternoon, but you were apparently she's not giving me any more, but I'm getting the word change
Okay.
in relation to you. So things are changing. And that in itself is beginning to, at the moment, is changing your physical aspects as well. Is there I'm getting a sense alongside grandmother, I'm getting a sense of disquiet. Is there someone around you not very well?
Yes.
Mm. They are not very well.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not hearing or not sensing anything more than that, right? I'm just being given the word clocks, mean time.
Okay.
It's time that it will be the key here. Take her love and take the love from the world of spirit as well. I gather that you have been quite recently, you've been doing a lot of help with people around you.
No, not really.
Well, I'm getting the sense that people have been coming, you have been expending a lot of energy with other people around you. Yes. And that they're considered to be help. And therefore, maybe a time to take a step back, do the yard, to rebuild your own energy levels. They're not concerned with the world of spirit, but they don't want to see you getting yourself in a bit of a tiz-was.
Okay.
An old expression that was grandmother's. Take their love and know that they're with you. You're also asking questions now, I'm being told, to the spirit world.
Yes.
Yes. They haven't told me what the word is or what the term is, but it's causing a little bit of concentration in the word of spirit as to how to answer it for you.
Okay.
Although I'm being told that you will generate the greater part of the answer for yourself anyway.
Thank you.
Take their love. Thank you. Bless you. Sir, now dear. Again, I'm sensing a younger element coming towards me. This time it's a younger man.
Okay.
I sense he may have had a problem. We're not doctors, so all I can say is I get a feeling with his chest and with breathing.
Okay.
But I also sense that he's walking with a bit of a limp. So whether or not he had an accident,
Can't
he
quite place that.
gives me the impression that he was quite athletic.
Okay.
You can't sense anything.
Not to
All right,
at the moment.
but he would have been about at least 5'10", 5'11" in height, and he was quite fit. I sense it was maybe in his mid-20s when he passed over.
Okay. No.
And the other thing he's giving with me in relationship to him is a motorbike.
I've had a similar message in the past, but I can't quite.
All right,
quite
I will
remember
ask
it.
who's actually with him now, because if you can't pin him down, your grandfather is in the world of spirit.
Yes.
Is father there?
Yes.
Ah, the father went very reluctantly.
Yes.
Yes, that's why he didn't stay. And he was quite a personality in himself, wasn't he? In fact, your father and grandfather were very similar in terms and attitudes.
Yes. Although I didn't know my grandfather very well.
They're getting the sense of being quite outspoken,
I'm not so
with
sure about that.
voice their opinion, let's put it that way.
Okay.
And could be a bit restrictive as well. Father is now somewhat, it's been over for some time, has he
Yes.
not? He's beginning to mellow a little bit. He's told me to tell you that. I'm getting the sense with him that he also brought a lot of energy. You could it's almost like sparking off him at times.
Okay.
He tells me that you have greater control over that.
Yes.
Yes. You don't waste it to the same extent. He's I'm getting a mixed emotions with him. 1 minute I'm getting the fact that he liked to be in people, and then the next thing is no, he was quite happy on his own.
Very happy on his own.
Yes. Yes, he tolerated other people. He was interested, and he tells you you're in the same range of how they think and what they do. Fascinates to a certain extent, but only to a certain extent. He's taken him, your father's taken himself to within my range of watching him into what I would call a space. And he tells me that you can do the same thing. You can take your head to wherever you want. Infuriating for everybody else around you, but it's perfectly okay as far as you're concerned. But it is also very distressing at times because what you do come up with, you can't always get the immediate answer. And you don't, he tells me you don't like that, neither did he.
Yeah, very similar.
He's not telling me what he's doing in the world of spirit, but I get the feeling that he seems to be on the move.
Okay.
And I have to, the word move is equally applicable to you.
Okay.
He tells me that you will know the young man, right?
Okay.
It is just a question of you changing gear.
Okay.
You'll find him. Right? He's not a member of the family,
No.
the young man.
Okay.
He would have been in a group, a nice like group. You like black, the colour of black?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, but he's just given me that. He's just simply said he likes black.
Okay.
Ah, okay, he's expanded on it to a certain extent, what he means by when he says black. Anything that is a bit difficult, a bit unusual, you don't understand, you're quite fascinated. And therefore, an elementship can be a black area, but you will go in to see what's going on. Just take his regard. I would say take his love. It's not a word he used very often, if at all. However, he is watching over you. He's giving me also the sense of I'm a mechanical.
Yes, it was. Yes.
And for you too.
Yes.
Yes. The putting together different things. So he is around you.
Thank you.
I asked him, does he interfere? He said he wouldn't dare. So take his love. Thank you very much indeed. Bless you. May I come to you, madam? Good evening to you. I have a gentleman coming forward. He's coming forward on a very strong family link to you. I sense it's your father. Was your father very keen on the garden? Yes, because he suddenly walked me into the garden. He wants to give you roses. And it's not just the rose in itself, it obviously is the perfume to the rose. Have you had a problem with your sense of smell just recently?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why he's bringing you that. The spirit world is actually trying to assist you with that. He's also somewhat concerned. Have you had a problem with your feet?
Yes.
All right. Because he said she's not walking very well. She has to be very careful. He's not over concerned on that score. It's just he said that she will stop herring around eventually. So from that point of view, he's just simply bringing through his love for you. And also, again, that you two haven't been sleeping very well.
No.
They are trying to sort this out for you. But it's not what you think just before you're dropping off. It's what you've been going on through the day that is the problem. And they are actually trying to sort this. Is there someone else, or is it possibly you around you who hasn't been very well? I'm getting the sense of having to make appointments, as if one is constantly trying to make appointments. Okay, well that's all he's given comes on that score. Because I'm getting the sense of that as if your rhythm has been disturbed, let's put it that way. But take his love and know that he's with you. Thank you for speaking with him. Bless you. Yeah, I come to you, madam. Good evening to you. You have quite a family in the world of spirit, don't you? They're sitting in tears behind you. I'm just waiting to see who will take them on. And I sense this is a lady who's coming down and who would have passed into the world of spirit as possibly in her 70s. Not a very tall woman and not a very big woman, but massive energy. Yeah. She said something about it must have been something in the family. She was like a whirlwind. She would create the wind when she came into the room, and she left it. She sucked the air out as well. Yes. Well, she's here. Bless her heart.
She's always there.
Always there. She's always there, yes. Well, that's what she's actually bringing through to you, is that energy, right? Also, I'm being told that you have been asking for healing, not necessarily for yourself, but for others. And that I am authorized to tell you that healing has been sent through. Although there is someone within that group who is, they're more of their own worst enemies.
I know.
Right? They are trying to do their best, right? But this lady is also very concerned, even though she was complete hurricane energy, that you're expending quite a bit of energy, but you're not taking enough time to redo the batteries, if you like, recharge the batteries. You are also mediumistic, are you not? Yes, because I'm now being told that you know what you're doing. And you have already had a warning from the spirit world to back off and relax. Okay? They do look after us, let's put it that way. It can be the main thing that they actually do try to teach us is that we use their energy, not our own. Okay? And that is a line that for some reason or another, recently you must have stepped over, and you have felt the energy drain down too. They are there to replace it, that is, don't worry, all you have to do is just simply ask them. But you may need to make 1 or 2 small changes to level the playing field. Okay? I'm also to give you the colour red. Right? It's not only is it energy, but it is also purpose in this case. What you are doing or what you have planned to do requires a tremendous amount of your time and your energy, but you must have the backup. You must be plugged in to draw on it, okay? Otherwise you will make yourself too tired. That's all I'm getting. I'm getting a sense of love that is actually surrounding you. But the bubble isn't complete. It's you put the kink in it. Alright, you know it, okay. So from that point of view, take the love and know they're with you. Thank you for speaking with me. May I come to you, please? Good evening to you. Do you work with children by any chance? Because I'm seeing children all around you. No. Well, I'm seeing children all around you. So I'm asking, somebody's got to have brought them in and ushered them in, right? One of them, the boy, is a bit of a pest, but never mind. He's okay. I'm asking who's with him. And it's a lady who's coming through. And she's not very tall. She would have been about my height, of sort of 5'4" or 5 foot mark. And she's coming as a strand family link to you. What the children are energy. You're actually another one you're another medium, are you not? Yes. But not necessarily fully accepted, because they're telling me they've brought you the children to bring you the energy that you have been expending without protecting yourself. Okay? Right. Now they can get a bit forthright, believe me. The lady that they've sent through to you, I sense is your grandmother. Yeah. She's in the world of spirit. She was also a really good cook, but she had a wooden spoon, which she would stir things with, and that's at the moment she's not only correcting the children, but it's being applied to you as well. Okay. If I give you the term burning the candle at both ends, you would recognize that with what's going on in your life. Yes, the spirit world are well aware of it. They are very keen when there's a working medium in the program, right? So from that point of view, you are required to conserve some of your energy right? That doesn't mean you can't give love and you can't give your time, but it is your energy. This is the whole thing. No matter where you keep it or where you store your soul in you, it is your pure energy. And that has been allowed to drop a bit, whatever has been going on around you. They don't tell me that, it's none of my business. But I'm getting confusion, right? That you have been not exactly existing in a world of disjointment at times, but it affects you more than what people think. Yes. So from that point of view, the ladies alongside the children have now cleared off. So, but the thing is, they've given you a big bush of energy. You may have, you will feel it. In fact, you're probably beginning to feel the heat anyway now. So take their love. Know they're with you. Thank you. Bless you. Another lady. We're not into the medium area. Good evening, madam.
Good evening.
I told you while you knew it was coming here anyway, didn't you? What can I say? We've been around, we've taught, and I know your husband's in the world of spirit, and your mother is in the world of spirit. Do you have a sister in the world of spirit? No. But there is a woman who you were quite well, was it an aunt? You had quite a good relationship with. You were a child, no more than about 10 when she passed over. Okay, stay with me. Your mother is obviously in the world of spirit. She has the young woman alongside her. So she's bringing, because you were about 10, and the young woman would be probably in her early 20s. So what she's bringing through to you is her, again, it's the love of music, which is to help you to relax, isn't it? This girl liked to sing. This young woman liked to sing. Now I know it's asking you to go to trot down your memory lane. What is it about high heels and stilettos?
Not something I'd have anything to do with.
She might have done, because that's something that she just mentioned. Now, under those circumstances, I expect the big skirts to go as well. Right? I think they just want to bring you. Are you out sorting out a party?
No.
Well, it's a shame then, isn't it? Because that's the energy that they're bringing.
That'd be nice.
Yes, give it some thought, because we use the word party. It doesn't mean to say that it is the sense of upliftment within you, right? That is like a party. It can be like a party feel, and that's what these two women are bringing through to you. I'm getting the sense of like renewal they're bringing from you, as if you're reassessing everything and you're making quite specific decisions.
I need to make decisions, yes.
Oh well, when they're bringing you the energy then, they're bringing you the upset. I'd like to simply say there's like a big wheel, but it's yes, like a car wheel, but it's all colourful, and it's just going around and around. I'll give you the head, because no, it's for you, it's nothing to do with me. Yeah? But Mother is alongside you too, and she's here because although there's this sense of energy and fun and party, she's giving me the sense that there's a feeling of disquiet as well. A little bit of like being slightly wrong-footed. So, but to let you know that she's with you, she's alongside you.
Thank you.
There's absolutely nothing to worry about. I told her, I'm chatting away to her, and she knows there's nothing to worry about. And she said, you can be a bit, a bit on the quiet side, you see.
Sometimes.
Yeah, and it's more difficult for people to sort of reach out. Let's put it that way. You're more likely to do the reaching out, even when you don't have the energy to do it. But take her love and know that she's with you.
Thank you.
And the young woman, as I said, she's still showing me the stilettos, the 4-inch stilettos. And I've said to her, I'm not going to be trying them on, so I don't think you should.
I couldn't wear them anyway.
Yeah, but at the same time, maybe it's a question of going back into that era and see what fun was there, what you might want to bring up again. Let's put it that way. Thank you. Bless you. I can't do it, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Father in the world of spirit.
Yes.
Father about 5'10".
Yeah.
And height?
I'm not very good with height.
Well,
they're a bit taller than
yeah.
me, yeah.
I'm a bit taller, a lot taller than me. I've got 6'4" brothers. Yes, I've got this man who, yes, he was about 5'10", but he was very compact within himself.
Yes.
He knew who he was, and he knew exactly what he was doing.
Yes.
And if he said no, he meant it.
Yes.
He said, but you could get round him from time to time.
I can what?
You could get round him from time to
right.
time. Not often. It depended on the severity of why he'd said no.
Yes.
Yes. He's coming through really just to say hello to you tonight.
Oh, jolly
Right.
good.
Have you been doing some healing as well?
Yes.
Because he's just shown me, the board that the ambulance people carry people on.
All right.
One of those collapsible ones.
Yeah.
I'm asking, he actually... Okay, sir, calm down. He started to show me him writing, doing quite a bit of writing.
Okay.
Then he stopped that, and then he said, no, you've got to do a lot of writing.
Oh.
And you have also been, I rather gather, having quite detailed conversations with the world of spirit.
Yeah.
You have been asking for direction
Yes.
and interpretation, as well as not just simply the meaning.
Yes.
Right. Maybe it is chance what he's trying to say to you is to try and write it down.
Yes.
Okay.
I've thought of that, but not done anything about it.
Yeah, well, that's one of the other things, but that's between you and him.
Yes.
But it is the fact that if you start to write down what you're thinking or what you would like to know, in some cases, what you'd like to know will answer what you're thinking,
Yes.
but it will also give the spirit world more clarity as to where you're coming from.
Right.
Because although on general feeling, and he's saying the same thing, generally speaking, with what he's telling me, what you say is what you mean,
Yes.
right? And you don't deviate, and you're not really that interested in being obstinate. It's just
Yes.
annoying people. However, it is more, you can jump from topic to topic,
Yes.
right? And that is what is giving the confusion to coming to an understanding.
Right.
If you begin with what you want to think, say what you would like to know, then what you think, and then wait. I mean, they will help you. Maybe not do it,
Right.
but you'll have to be more disciplined. You'll have to set yourself a time when you will work with the spirit world,
Yes.
and you will do it regularly for a considerable period of time until it becomes almost automatic for you.
It's all very appropriate.
Oh yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is one way of starting to sort a level of confusion which is stopping something else,
Right.
or which is delaying something else.
That's very useful.
Okay?
Yeah.
From my own experience, if you take, it's only no more than an hour a day and you sort the time, but you stick to the time
All right.
because it's a discipline for you as well, because that's what you're having to build in as well,
Yes.
your own discipline.
Yes.
With me it was 10 till 11 and we started, and that went on for about a year,
Right.
and put the question up and then start the argument, see where you're coming from.
Thank you. That's
Cheers.
useful.
Thank you. Father sends his love, but he says too, do you have, how you've been thinking of getting a new pillow?
I have. Yes. I've
Yes.
been in trouble. Yes.
Because that's what he said. She should get her pillow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bless
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah. Good evening to you.
Good evening.
Your mother is obviously, she's in the world of spirit.
Yes.
And I'm getting the sense that you and she were quite close. There is a look about you, which I'm seeing from her.
Yes. I've been
Yes.
told that.
Yes. Different personality. You are, and with respect, you're a softer personality than Mother.
Shall I say
You are a softer personality than Mother.
Yes.
Mother could be quite dictatorial. She's telling me that, right? And she apologises for that, because it's not that she wanted everybody to, and her standards, right? It wasn't even about that. It was her sense of not having control. Okay? And that apparently, the word control has ramifications within the family at the moment as well.
Yes.
Yes. She tells me you're doing your best, but you're up against some quite difficult opposition, aren't you?
Yes.
If I use the word and she's used it, it's devious. No. But they're watching over you. They're keeping an eye on you. Mother's saying you're doing a good job, but you must remember to stay healthy.
Yes.
Okay? She liked her cup of tea as well. But she's just mentioned a cup of tea, so it's got to be in relationship to you. Maybe you're not drinking enough water, tea, or whatever.
I drink plenty.
You do? Okay, so why has she got that up? It is a question she used it to relax with and to take a moment for herself. You drink it, but you don't necessarily take a moment for yourself.
No.
No. She wants you to look after yourself a bit more and therefore surprise the rest of the family. Right? You have to have the energy to do that, haven't you? Bless you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Mother is well pleased. She's smiling here. I don't know what you've got planned. I'm not reading your mind. She's not telling me. But whatever it is, we'll keep you smiling for a bit to go. Thank you. Bless you. Sir, may I come to you? Good evening to you.
Good evening.
There is a young woman coming towards me. And I'm sensing quite an athletic young woman. As a youngster or a younger girl, she would have played hockey and she would have liked to have run. She passed into the world of spirit, I would say, by the look of her, about mid-20s. And again, she had an underlying problem that suddenly arose and that took her over. You don't recognise who she is at the moment. Okay, well, that's fine. I'm asking now who's alongside her. I have a gentleman who's coming alongside her, and he's coming in on a very strong family link to you. Okay. Your father is still here, is he? So I'm looking at grandfather. You're all tall. Your father, he is tall. He's come alongside her. He knows her. So she had to be a member of the family. You were probably too young when she passed over. Okay. But what she's bringing through to you is her love of sport. Okay. She's not telling me whether you do play sport. But it is it's the pure excitement, the fun, and your grandfather. I heard a gun go off. Did he go shooting?
Yeah.
All right. So that was his sport. Let's put it that way. Okay. However, that sort of shock, that bang that went off. Have you been making or been sitting in taken up a position where you haven't quite made up your mind over something? Not being dilatory, but not having quite made up your mind. Because he's giving me the bang it's like a starting pistol, right? Something that you're thinking about starting to do, to go ahead with it. Right? I'm also getting the sense from him, he was actually quite a gentleman as well. Mm-hmm. Very well mannered and very precise, and he liked women, and he tells me you do too. So that's why he's bringing this young woman in. However, are you by any chance an engineer as well?
Title, yeah.
Yes, because again the word engineering came in. He seems to be fascinated by being around you. You are sometimes aware of him. Mm-hmm. Yes, you are. Yes, because he's with you, but he's not interfering. He's too fascinated by what you're doing, because you're just that generation away that you have more freedom than he would have ever thought possible. even though he exercised quite a bit of control and freedom. It's just that I get the feeling from him, he's just quite delighted to be along here this evening, and to contact with you as well. But again, I'm sensing a mediumistic ability with you as well. So are you also training to be a medium? No. Well, when the time is right, and you will know it, because as I said, the energy is within you, and when you feel the energy, it will push you on. Fascinating at the moment, but stay away from the dark side, will you, please? Because that can be disruptive more than anything. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but you don't need to know about it. You're actually very strong, and therefore you would be of more interest to other people. Okay? Take his regard and know that he's with you. And this young one brings with her the love of sport. Either the execution of it or just the watching of it. Thank you for speaking with me. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, did anybody come up with a question that you would like to ask me? And if I can't answer it, I know who might be able to. Yes, Willow.
I want to ask why you're nice to everybody else when it's they've got to take their time to get into it, yet you bullied me for years. That's not a serious question, it's fine, I was just breaking your ice. She did bully me for years though.
Well, the thing is, I know that the jump from, I personally didn't come into this until about just over 20 years ago. I had my life to lead. I had children to rear, divorces to do, and you name it, and get on with living. And then I suddenly had a chance to sit one night, and I decided I wouldn't go to London to work because although I'd earn the money, but I'd have to have the train there and back and the fuss and one thing and another. So I'd stay where I was. And I'd finished my education just a couple of years before that, and the word spirit came up. And that was the key word. They'd been knocking on the door for years, but I was not answering them at all. I can reflect now and I can look back to see when they were knocking on the door. But there's nothing they can do for you to develop your abilities until you are ready, until you decide that you want to do it. And once you've made that decision and it gets out into the ether, then they will come to you and then they will help. And you will be nudged forward to what you're doing. You will be able then, in some cases, be able to highlight and pinpoint quite in your memory when they were definitely trying to talk to you and you were ignoring them. But that is the whole point. You have freedom of choice. That's what people seem to forget. We're a medium. I choose to do the work, but I choose to do it when I stand up. I go to work. When I go out the door tonight and get in the car, I go home. I'm not the working medium. I live my life. It's all part and parcel of my life. And that's where some people tend to get confused. They seem to think that you're taken over and you do nothing else. But of course you have. You have a bounden duty to live on this earth plane and do your best while you're here as yourself. And if you're then enhanced and brought forward the gift that each and everybody has, and then you find that you can use it, even better. But it's not obligatory. You can take it back to the spirit world and maybe have to come back again to have another crack at doing it. It's going to be fascinating when I get back. I mean, there'll be a red army there asking, who the heck did I think I was talking to them like that? But it's a dimension. That's the whole point. The spirit world is a dimension. It is the next thing. This very efficient instrument for carrying me around, when it is no longer necessary or doesn't want to do it anymore, I will be quite happy to return to the world of spirit. Because my energy is a new, each and every one of you has the same energy as I do. Same energy as I mentioned once before, the other medium, who excellent medium, who was Jesus. The only difference is the timing and the training as to what and how it alters and how expansive it was. Because if you think of him, I mean, he had been trained from childhood to come through. But most of us only come into spiritualism and mediumship and that in a much later age group. So it takes longer, and it's not so easy to train either, because you've got a life, you've got a family, you've got children, you've got a job, you've got whatever. It makes it just that bit more difficult than if you were being trained from the age of 4 or 5 or whatever. You must have a question. Go on. Yes. Good.
So I was wondering, obviously I've been having some signs, and at some point I stopped, I turned my back to that, and now I'm more open, and I want to go with it.
Yes.
But I don't know how to do it. I know.
It's, again, it is discipline. You will have to set aside time to make yourself available to the world of spirit. Now don't forget, you know you have all your chakras. You open them when you're working, and when you're not working, you close them, because you have to return to you, who you are. So if you've opened them and you sat down, put a question out and wait, and begin the conversation. At first you will believe it's only you in your head, and yes, it will only be you in your head, but there may be 1 or 2 words that you'll pick up, and then it'll go, and then you will become more and more relaxed with spirit. And then the actual time of sitting, because let's face it, you're asking a big empire to get themselves to you at a given time, so you do that and you sit that until you have gone over that requirement, and then you can talk to them and natter away to them when you're cleaning the potatoes or whatever you're doing.
So just come with time.
It's time, your time and their time. You set your earthly time, and they'll try and fit in with you, and then you will get to know who your guides are, and that. You may not, like me, I don't see them. People, when other mediums tell me who they are, I don't need to know, I just know they're there, right? And I know when I can hear a different level of a response. As I said, and then you do need to be in try to get yourself into a circle where you can practice.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Unfortunately, you have to say?
I have one here.
Yeah, there are circles. It's like everything else. Sometimes you fit, sometimes you don't, but once you start talking to people, you'll get to know others. But it needs, as I said, is again, you're dealing with the spirit world. Your energy is the same as theirs, right? So it's a conversation, and it is that.
This also being a healer would be part of that? Or
No, doesn't make any difference. There are mediums who are not healers. There are healers who become mediums.
Because I feel that I have the healing
Yeah,
energy.
that is possibly how they have begun to attract you and to get you to ask the questions. I came into it too, only because I'd gone to a meeting and the teacher at the time, or the person who's doing it, sort of touched the person next to you, and the chap jumped. And be like that then, you know. He said, that was hot. My hands are not hot, but when I'm healing, apparently they are. And that's how I came into it, because I was comfortable with that concept. The idea of doing mediumship was definitely wasn't on the horizon at all. It was only then to get to know more about the healing. One subject led to another. So, did you want?
No.
Right. Yes? Anybody else? No? Well, Willow said 9:30, and we are just about there. So thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. This is why I let Effie talk, because I call this my meat suit. And I'm just like, my meat suit is doing what it's got to do, but everything else is quiet. All right, thank you all for being here. Would you mind shouting
Yes.
for me? So I made you sit down. I let you sit down. I'm sorry.
She just wants to know my knees are working.
I'm a nightmare.
Be good enough to join me, please. Divine Eternal Creator, higher spirits, guides, teachers, and all of the loved ones and friends who came through to work with me this evening, I thank you for your time, your energy, and your love. I would ask for one further favour, that each and every one here travels safely to their homes, and that they and their families are protected until such times as we shall meet again. Amen.